How's it going? And welcome to Test That Tech. Today we are going to be tearing down the Altec Lansing Bluetooth Mini H2O rugged Bluetooth speaker. So the first thing we can do, this broke off in the drop test, just tear that off. That exposes the speaker part of it. As you can see, part can move, and that's how it produces a sound. This bounces in and out, and this rubber part is actually meant to come off. You just open that and then pull the sleeve out, and that reveals on the back the information on this device. So let's see if there's anything underneath the stickers here. So underneath the stickers is another hole. There's just plastic which may be covering the screws. So you need a small screwdriver. Dig into it. So I managed to get this little rubber piece off. So that is what is inside the hole. So underneath the rubber is a Phillips head screw. So each screw is just this little Phillips head screw. So you need to do that for all 5 of these holes. So after you get all 5 of those screws out, which does take a bit of determination in getting that plastic out, you can just take this, pull it open, and see the inside. You can see when I was pushing on it earlier, it doesn't move on the inside, but this one does. So these cords are soldered onto the motherboard and onto the speaker, so you would not be able to replace any of these cords unless you know how to solder. You can probably see from the shine of the light that there's quite a bit of adhesive right here. This is what was holding it together originally before I opened it, and that is where the USB port is, so it also helps it be water resistant. So the motherboard is held on by 2 Phillips head screws, and so I'm going to unscrew those and see if we can't get the motherboard off. In order to get the adhesive off, you can actually just kind of rub at it like that. It does just rub off. It takes quite a bit of effort though with how much they have on here. So we got the 2 screws out. So let's see if we can get these holders off so we can see what the other side of the motherboard looks like. You want to be careful if you're going to use tweezers to get this stuff off, since the motherboard is very fragile, and this plastic part is not too bad because it doesn't matter if that gets damaged. So now before we go any further, let's see if it still turns on.
Powering on. Welcome to Altec Lansing.
So it still works. So I'm just going to try to pry up the motherboard, hopefully without breaking anything. Okay, got one side out. There is the other side of the motherboard and the battery. The speaker is soldered onto the back, which goes to these connections here, and this is your micro USB for charging at the bottom of the motherboard, and here are the little chips that run the Bluetooth and the speakers and everything else, and this is a little battery right here. Let's see if we can get it out safely. You want to be very careful not to bend or puncture these batteries, because if it does, the lithium in the battery will catch on fire. So that's the back of the battery. This whole thing is what runs the speaker. So this battery is a 3.7 volt battery, and here are the buttons that are on the top of the speaker. So let's see if this works outside of the case.
Powering on. Welcome to Altec Lansing.
And it still works. So now it is time to put this back together. So what's holding the battery to the case is just a couple of little stickies. Need to put the battery there. Put the battery there. Again, make sure these align. One thing you can do is just line them up before. Push them in. Make sure that gets in there. So once you get the motherboard back in, you can put those two screws on. And I've already ripped a couple of the cords, because since these are soldered on, I would have to solder them back on. And so this speaker will no longer work, unfortunately. Then you just take that, push it together, and then even though one speaker won't work, let's see if it turns on.
Powering on. Welcome to Altec Lansing.
So it still turns on. It's going to be pretty loose until you put those screws back in. So once you get those screws back in, just put this back over it. Now keep in mind, now that all that adhesive is out and everything, this won't be water resistant anymore. And then, if you still have this part that wasn't broken, you could just put it back over like that. So now that we have it all back together, let's see if it still turns on.
Powering on. Welcome to Altec Lansing.
So it still works, although unfortunately this speaker will not work anymore since I ripped those wires out. But that is how you would open an Altec Lansing Bluetooth speaker. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I would appreciate it if you liked the video and subscribed to my channel. Let me know if you have ever tried to open a speaker down in the comments.